Hey, I'm gonna go from the start with Brother Daniel, because you've always been a Brother Daniel to me.
Yes.
Brother Daniel, thank you so much for coming on and
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, sharing a little bit about yourself. First off, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit, what you do, just a little summary of your life?
Yeah, sounds good. Well, as you said, my name is Daniel. I've
Yeah.
been living in the United States since 2003. And what I do in my life, I do everything. But my main focus, I am full-time in ministry.
Okay.
This is my job. This is my passion. And this is what I love. And this is what I do. And so I've been working with this organization called Teen Challenge.
Okay.
This organization started by David Wilkerson
Okay.
in 1950s.
Okay.
And so in Sacramento, it started in 1960s. And so I work with this program called Teen Challenge, and it's a 12-month discipleship program for people with life-controlling issues.
Okay.
So particularly men that come into the program that have issues with whatever things controls their life. Can be drugs, can be alcohol, can be gambling addiction, whatever addiction or life controlling issue they have, they can come in, and we give them the program. We help them restore their relationship with God.
You give them the resources
Yes.
to overcome these addictions.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about a little bit more specifically about the what. What is it that you do? Maybe if you want to talk about your daily schedule, you want to talk about your weekly schedule, you just hit some bullet points, what it is that you guys do at Teen Challenge.
So as I said earlier, people come in with the life controlling issues. It's a discipleship program. We don't call it a rehab center because it has kind of a secular connotation behind it. We call it a discipleship program. So it's one thing to make a decision for change. It's one thing to change. You go to a prayer meeting and something happens within your life, you change. But then it's a hard thing to continue living it out. So what we do is we help men who come into the program to live it out, to learn how to live with Jesus. And so they live on premises at Teen Challenge.
Okay.
And so my position, I'm a director, so I oversee the house, I oversee the program. I have 4 employees, official employees that work for me or work under my supervision.
Okay.
Yes. And so my position is ministering to my employees who minister to the students. I minister to the students myself.
Okay.
And they go through a lot of different things within the program. They have a spiritual aspect of the program where they go to Bible classes, where they learn about God, relationship with God. Then we have a practical part about the program where they learn about career, how to get a good career, financial class, anger management, and so on. And then they have a physical part where they actually get a chance to work physically. We work in a lot of different areas to just teach them how to work physically.
Okay, yeah,
and
just work ethic.
Yeah, and then work ethic, and then also taking care of their personal life, of their personal responsibilities, making a bed and doing all those things that you need to do. And some people have experience with them, some don't. And so we just minister within the area, within that area. This is what I do, I guess.
Okay, so how many students or people signing up for the discipleship on average? How many do you guys?
Yeah. So our facility holds 27 beds.
Okay.
And so depending on the time of the year, but we keep around 20 people within the program, 20 students within the program.
So what's a daily routine like for you? You come in the morning. What's your start time?
Yeah. So being within the ministry, schedule can be pretty crazy sometimes. I do live on premises. We at our facility that we have 20 acres property.
Nice.
And so we have a house where our students live, where our office is at, our kitchen and everything like that. We have a chapel on the property, and then we have a house where me and my wife and our daughter reside. And so days can be different. I can say I'm almost, I don't want to say I'm 24/7 on, but I'm available 24/7. But there are certain hours that I particularly focus on work when I come to my office. And my day usually starts at 9 o'clock that I come into my office, and there's a lot of different things on agenda, from giving assignments to my staff members, from connecting with a lot of volunteers that might be able to help out Teen Challenge, dealing with certain student issues that my staff members cannot take care of, and so on. And so that's my usual daily things. And then we have days where I work evening shifts, where I take them to a local church, where they participate within the church, and so on. So there's just so many things that you got to do, and there's so much emergencies that sometimes come up that you have to deal with, and so on. So there's a lot of things within agenda. Each day is different, I would say, within the ministry.
I mean, because all the, I don't know if you call them students.
Yes.
All the students are different with different, I guess, things that control their lives, and you spend time with each student differently. You have any maybe testimonies or interesting stories that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of like from your daily life.
For sure. I mean, one thing I just want to share is that when I was younger, I was looking. What happened was I went to Ukraine for a missionary trip.
Okay.
I stayed there for like 6 months, and then I came back. And my story with Teen Challenge is the way it started. I came back, started looking for opportunity where I can serve, what I can do. Okay. Most of my brothers there have businesses, they have finances and money, and so I was wondering, what am I gonna do in my life? And so I came just praying for the opportunity, and this Teen Challenge opportunity came. Okay. And it's interesting because at first I had a lot of doubts about working for Teen Challenge, because first of all, I never used drugs myself. Okay. I'm
going to interrupt you. Yes. I'm going to back you up a little bit. So you're answering the why part. So let's back up a little bit. You said you went to a missionary trip in Ukraine. Yes. You were interested in Teen Challenge. How did all that happen? I mean, you said your brothers are all have jobs, they're living the normal life. Why did you decide missionary Ukraine, you want to help people out? I mean, that's not normal.
So from the youngest age, I really wanted to I would have really wanted to do something that would affect other people, to make influence on other people. And so that's where my trip to Ukraine happened, to be a missionary. I was supposed to be there for 1 month. I stayed there for 6 months. I just had a heart to help out people. It wasn't something specific that I was looking for, like this ministry. At first I was thinking I'm going to be a missionary all my life long, and then I'm going to do this all my life long. But recently I realized is that God called me to ministry. And at this point, I'm working at Teen Challenge. This is where I'm fulfilling my ministry. Maybe next day God will lead me somewhere else. But at this point, I don't want to say I'm called to Teen Challenge, but I am called to ministry, and Teen Challenge is where I'm fulfilling my ministry. Missionary in Ukraine it's a place where I was fulfilling my ministry. Okay. I'm also involved with serving the youth across the United States. I work with the Slavic District Assemblies of God. Okay. We have around 60 churches. I ministered there as well to the youth pastors and so on. So this is just the areas that I'm able to execute my calling.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So so that was the why. Back to the stories. What makes you, what keeps you there? Yeah. Obviously it's not an easy job. Yeah. On a regular job, like for example, my job, right? I go to work, I have a bad day, I come home, I refresh, take a nap, go back the next day. But I have the opportunity to leave. You live on the premises. Yeah. You're not leaving your job. Yeah. What makes you keep coming back?
It's definitely a challenging job, really hard. And so many times I came home really tired and saying, this is too much for me, you know. But at the end of the day, I try to not to lean on my emotions. I get some rest. I sleep it out, I pray it out, and then I continue because of the bigger goal. And the reason why I stay there is because I've seen lives being changed. I can see students that come in the program where their parents drop them off or their wife drop them off, and they're just some way out there, on the who knows what kind of cloud they're on. And then 12 months later, or they stay a little bit longer to do internship. And then on the graduation day, when they finish the whole thing, seeing them walk the stage receive that diploma, and now being able to reconnect with their families, reconnect with their wives, and this is my payday when I see them on that stage graduating. I say, it was worth it. It was worth it to go through all the struggles and hardships with them in the program, but to see their lives being changed. And another cool thing is that now as they graduate the program, as the students finish the program, they go back to their families. Now the wife has a godly husband at home. Now the kids are able to grow up in a godly home where the father is there and he knows the Lord. Now the family, parents can see their child, their son, that knows God now, and so when they finish the program, I realized that I'm not only influencing one person, I'm influencing a lot of other people that they're going to influence as they finish the program. So that's something that keeps me going every day. It's definitely a challenge. A challenge. I live on site, but I don't work 24/7, meaning that I do come home and I have my boundaries. I have other staff members that are working, that are able to minister on daily basis and so on. And so I do draw the boundaries that I make sure I have my time with my family, with my wife, with my daughter, personal time. So that's something that I try to have that boundary all the time.
Okay. So back to the maybe a testimony or interesting story. You said you have your payday when these students are crossing the stage, and that's kind of like your goal right there. What are some maybe examples that are standing out that you're like, man, this was all worth it if it was for this one person or these two people? This was all worth it.
Yeah. Well, there is probably so many examples.
Okay.
Each of the student is really special. Each of the story is really, really special. And for me personally, just like seeing one of the guys I remember came in the program really broken, lost all his relationship with his family. His wife actually divorced him. They were married for over 20 something years. They had 3 kids. His wife divorced him, and he came in the program really broken. And as he started going through the program, God slowly started rebuilding his relationship with his kids, but there was just no connection with his wife. And God started building relationship just between him and God, and things started working out a lot better. He became an intern, and things were working better, but with his wife, nothing was happening. He graduated the program, and after he graduated the program, God restored his marriage. Wow. So they've been divorced for 3 years or 4 years, and they remarried again, you know. And so now he got back into his kid's life and so on. And so this is just one story of many. I mean, we had a story of one student sleeping at the steps of one of the churches, for years. And somehow he got into Teen Challenge, got into our program, and then when he was in the program, we sometimes visit churches, and he came to exactly the same church where he was sleeping at their door. And he came into the church, and he actually shared his testimony there within the church. Said, "Hey, I was sleeping right there by that door. Every Sunday, pastor would come out and invite us to come in. We will never come in because him and other people were sleeping there. So the pastor always brought us coffee, and invite us to come in. He never walked in the door up until he got through Teen Challenge, and then he was able to walk through those doors and share the testimony of what God has done in his life. And the story just continues. So much stories, just people coming. I had a guy come in at the program, and he never prayed in his life. He'd been in prison for many years, and he came into my office. He has tattoos all over his body, and he came and he said, "How do you pray?" He said, "I start with kneeling. What do I do next?" And it's sometimes the things, sometimes people think like it's so hard to minister to people. They come just kind of as a little kids, almost like hungry, hungry, just want to know simple things about God, and so many stories like that.
That's awesome. This thought crossed my mind where, we don't see miracles, nowadays, but listening to kind of your little testimonies about these people, it's almost like, bringing people back to life. Yeah. You're bringing families back to life. You're bringing relationships back to life. And honestly, that's on the outside, it sounds beautiful, and it's like, man, that's a beautiful job. But the people that aren't in your shoes probably don't know the difficulty of the job. But very, very very, very worthwhile, I bet.
Yeah, it's really inspiring. Before I started working with the challenge, I've been to a lot of services where people come and share testimonies, and obviously we share all the good stuff and everything like that.
Yeah.
But it is a really difficult job dealing with students, dealing with parents, dealing with spouses, and so on, with kids, and they're just people come in broken with so many issues. Some students come in, they have kids that they know about, the kids that they don't know about, in different cities and different states, and so on, and so many issues. So many brokenness, a lot of people that come in that some of them are not ready to give up their lifestyle. We see people that come in and have to leave the program. It breaks our hearts. We're trying to encourage them to stay. So there's a lot of difficulty behind it. But at the end of the day, the influence that we're able, even if somebody stays within the program a week, a day, sometimes they stay with 2 hours, sometimes 15 minutes and leave. We're still trying to show the love of God, because we had people who come in, stay there for 15 minutes or an hour, left, came in again and did the whole program because they remembered that somebody actually cared for that.
Wow, that's beautiful. So, do people usually come in themselves, or does someone bring them in? Is it usually parents bring them in? Is it wives? Are they young? Are they old? Who are you working with?
So the organization called Teen Challenge, and it seems like it's only for teens. It's not only for teens. So we serve people of all ages. Particularly, I minister with men 18 years old and older.
Yeah.
So we have men that comes in as 18 years old, and we have the oldest man I had was probably 65. Probably the average age I would say is around 30. 30, 35. This is the time when people start realizing, look, I can't do this by myself.
Midlife crisis.
I really need some help. So we do have an admissions office where we actually do require somebody who wants to come in the program. They need to call us and tell us that they're interested, because I can't force anybody to come into the program. But if they call us and say, hey, I'm interested in the program, then when they come in, we say, hey, you call us for help. Here's the help we offer. Because if I force you to come in, you might say, well, I was forced. I'm not going to do anything.
I didn't ask for this.
Yes. So that's one of the things. People know about us. Court system know about us. Judges know about us. Sometimes judges actually court order people to come into the program. But we're still looking for a desire from that particular student or potential student to come in the program. And as I said, we had people who police will bring on their police cars. We had families who will bring their family members. So they come from different. Sometimes they come in by themselves.
See, what I like about this is the fact that you call it you don't call it a rehab center.
A discipleship program.
A discipleship program.
Yes.
And I mean, that's amazing, because oftentimes people that don't go to church or that don't know anybody that they can look up to, there's nobody in the world that they can talk to help them out. But maybe they don't have a crazy drug problem. Maybe they're not alcoholics, but they would just want to, they're probably thinking, I want to get my family in order.
Yes.
I want to get my life in order. Yeah. How can I do this? And they're not into watching hundreds of hours of YouTube videos, right? And so I'm honestly surprised that there is a program like this for anybody looking to get their life back on track, to reorganize their family, to prove maybe to their children, hey, I can be a good dad, or to prove to their wife, hey, I can be a good husband. Give me some time. And I mean, the beautiful thing about it is that these people are realizing that they need help. And like you said, for them to receive help, they have to call you, which is amazing, because when you make someone do something and they don't desire to do it themselves, it's never going to turn out as good as it can when these people desire to change their life, and when these people desire to be a good father or a good husband.
Yeah, we had some students that come in. I had one guy come in with anger issues. He never had a drug issue, alcohol. He had an anger issue.
That can control your life.
Yeah, that can control. And so he came. He finished the program. He moved back. He's doing fairly well. I just seen him the other day.
Wow.
We had somebody who came in who had a gambling issue. He was gambling all his money out, and he came in, did the whole program. And mostly people do come in for drug or alcohol related addictions and stuff. But there's other people that can come in with anything basically that controls their life.
Okay. So for this podcast today, we're with you. I'm going to have two how can I's. Usually we just do like a how can I, become this career we're talking about. This is more not a career. This is more of a lifestyle. So first, let's talk about someone interested listening or watching. They're interested in ministry, right? What's a good step? Maybe you're a director. It's going to take obviously a while, and you have to love it with a passion. But somebody doesn't know what ministry God hasn't opened up to them, or maybe they haven't experienced different things. They don't know what ministry they want to serve in. What's a good way? What are some good steps to experience these things or volunteer? Can people volunteer at Teen Challenge?
Yes, they can volunteer at Teen Challenge. They can actually be employed at Teen Challenge. I'm currently looking for some good, solid workers to come and work for us. So there's a lot of opportunities. I think the main thing is to have a desire to serve. Sometimes God gives us a specific vision for something specific that he wants us to work in. And sometimes God is just calling us to ministry. And as I said earlier, I feel like God called me to ministry. Teen Challenge is where I fulfilling that calling. And so God can speak in a lot of different ways. God can show you the need. God can just open the door for you. As I said earlier, I didn't have a drug issue. So when I started working at Teen Challenge, a lot of people saying, how can you minister to them if you never had a drug issue or alcohol issue? But I say, well, Jesus didn't necessarily have a drug issue.
Right.
David Wilkerson, who started this organization, didn't have a drug issue.
Right.
So it's a matter of the heart. If you have a heart for people, God can use you there. And so God, for me, God I just had a heart for those people, and I said, God, as long as you can use me there, I'm gonna be there. I didn't grow up dreaming working at the discipleship or rehab centers, we would say before. I didn't grow up dreaming of that. I never thought that I will be involved in that ministry, but God opened the door, placed the desire in my heart, and I've been involved in it. So I would say for somebody who wants to be in ministry, I think people are afraid sometimes. They're afraid, and I was afraid. When I went to Bible school at first, I was afraid about, if I'm going to be a full-time in ministry, how am I going to provide for my wife? Yes, Santa Cruz. You actually been there with me when I went to school.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember when I was in Santa Cruz, I remember one day I was sitting at the coffee shop near the beach, and I was praying to God and saying, God, how am I going to live if I'm going to be in ministry? How am I going to provide for my family? How am I ever going to get married? How am I going to ever provide for my kids if God give me, and God did bless me with children now. And I remember God just showing me through the scripture that day that he will take care of me. And he has taken care of me from day one till right now. He always provided. I always had what I need, and I got married and I have a beautiful daughter now. God always provided. But I think that's usually the fear for a lot of young people. They're afraid of how are they going to live, how they're going to provide, and so on. It is a sacrifice. You might not be able to have always fancy things and live in a fancy home. So it's definitely a sacrifice that you have to be willing to make.
But you know where you will have a fancy home.
Yes,
you know where you will have a fancy home.
You'll come visit me there.
Upstairs with the man upstairs, baby.
Amen.
Okay, so that's kind of the how, and I guess probably encourage people to go on a missionary trip.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go spend a bunch of money. There's always opportunities downtown Sacramento, wherever city you live in. Downtown, there's people that would love some help, a sandwich, just you preach to them, just an encouragement.
Yeah, I think if somebody just sitting at home and doing nothing, God cannot just automatically reveal his calling for them. I think as long as you start making your way, doing something for God, God will lead you to the right people. You just got to be open about it.
For some reason, I just got this this example, like if you want to be a vessel of God, right? A cold toaster, you can't toast no bread in a cold toaster. You got to be plugged into the power. And then God will drop in some bread and you can start toasting things, right? So you got to be plugged in, looking for that opportunity.
Yes, you have to be on the move. It's easier for God to lead us the right direction if we're moving. If we're stuck in one spot just waiting for something, who knows what to happen, it might never happen, But if you are moving, if you're moving maybe not in the direction exactly the right direction, but you are moving, God can steer you to the right path.
Okay, amen. Okay, so the other how can I is and maybe there's someone listening or watching us today, they do have something that controls their life. And it doesn't matter what it is, drugs, alcohol, a porn addiction, anger issues, or they just want to reset their life, reorganize their life. They want to prove to their family that they're worth the name of the father. They're worth the name of the husband. Where can they find a contact? Where can they find you guys? Are you guys all over around the United States? Where, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Teen Challenge, we have over 240 locations in the United States. If you go to our national website, teenchallengeusa.org, you put in your zip code, and it's going to tell you the closest locations near you.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of places. So basically, if somebody has a life controlling issue, completely controls their life, they're able to come into one of our programs. And then and there's a lot of other programs that offer other help too. Sometimes people are not able to come in, and because within our program, somebody will stay there completely in the program for 12 months, living there, eating there, everything like that. Sometimes people are not able to commit to that. There's other opportunities for them to receive some advising, counseling, and be ministered to.
Okay.
So there's other programs for that as well. We are developing something like that for the Sacramento Valley, for our area. I know other Teen Challenges do that as well.
So it's not like a full-time, you live there, but it's maybe you come a couple times a week or something.
Yes.
Just classes and stuff.
So when somebody calls us, we talk to them. We try to see their need and then steer them the right direction. So if it's something that we can help them with, is the issue that they need to come into the program and do the 12 months, then we bring them into the program. But if we see, hey, maybe there's some other programs or other things that can help them, then we steer them the right direction and say, hey, this is where you can get the help that you need.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, if there is anybody of you watching or listening and you do need help and you realize that you need the help, I personally encourage you to go find help. And if it's Teen Challenge that you're looking for, and we just heard about what what Daniel does, the opportunities Teen Challenge offers for people seeking help, please reach out, and I'm sure they'll be more than willing to help as long as they can, provide with bedding and all that stuff.
Yeah, and the way to look us up, if you just Google Teen Challenge, there's a lot of Teen Challenge websites, and then start from there. Find the first number there is on Google, call them and tell them which city you're from, and they're probably gonna lead you the right direction.
Okay, and then also, if you want to volunteer at a Teen Challenge, you said there's 240 locations. Obviously, you can look up the same way.
Yep. There's a lot of opportunities to volunteer, and we constantly looking for volunteers to come.
What exactly are you guys looking for? What volunteers for what?
So there is, depending, usually when I talk to somebody who wants to serve, I want to see their giftings, what they can do, so we have a lot of different opportunities. For example, if somebody wants to teach the Bible or teach our students on daily basis, like 1 hour a day, 1 week, every, month or something like that, there's opportunity for that. We provide the curriculum. If somebody say, I cannot teach, but I can come and take somebody to an appointment or something like that, or drive our students.
Okay.
They can volunteer that way. We have at Teen Challenge.
Teen Challenge Uber?
In Teen Challenge Uber. We have a Teen Challenge in Lincoln. We have a garden that we've been planting, actually. I got my mom to sign up as a volunteer.
Oh, nice.
So she planted it, actually, and helped out. And there's a lot of other people come that help out. A lot of locals people that come and help out, And so, there was a thrift store. Somebody can volunteer at our thrift store. Somebody can volunteer picking up the phone, screening people, talking to people, helping them come in the program, advising us. I mean, you name it. There are just so much opportunities to serve. It just depends on the timing of that person have and their desire.
Okay. Well, how does the community around, say the specifically where you work, how does the community around accept Teen Challenge? Do they accept it? Are they helpful? Do they kind of like, oh, look at these?
Yeah. So we've been around for a real long time. So for the most part, we have a really positive view of the community. We've been we don't just have people serve us, we try to serve the community as well. So whenever there is something going on within the city, we try to help out. Like this year on 4th of July, we helped out to set up the event in the city. We volunteer our guys for the security, and we helped out that way. So we give back to the community, so our neighbors have a really good view of us. We have a good connection with them, and community is a big support, especially local churches. A lot of local churches are big supporters. They come, they volunteer, they serve, they bring food, they bring donations, and so on. So community has been really, really helpful.
So then someone finishes the program. Do you guys help these people find a job? Do you guys help these people find a church?
Yeah. So what we try to do at the end of the program, we try to make sure before they leave our house, our center, that they have a job, they have a place to stay, they're connected to a church, and they have a mentor that mentors them. And we find a lot of local businessmen mentors, particularly the church we attend, Destiny Church. We go to men's ministry on Wednesday nights, and there's around 200 men that come to that men's ministry. And so we have our students sit at different tables, meet with other men, and when they finish the program, they can have that connection with other men if they live within the area. And through that, we have opportunities.
Accountability.
Yes, accountability, but also opportunity to get a job, to work for a Christian man that can help them out in the beginning, and so on, have that mentorship and so on. So we connect our student with a mentor that will help him as he continues living outside of the program. And we're a phone call away too. I had people that finished the program 3 years ago call me up, say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Can you help me out? Can you hold me accountable in this? And so on. And so we're there to help as long as they want to help.
Okay, awesome. Daniel, I want to say a very, very big thank you for coming on and sharing this info with us. I think this is very important as maybe for somebody looking to be in the industry, and for our community, knowing that there is help out there when help is needed, and knowing that there's people like yourself willing to sacrifice their lives and willing to minister to the people in need. And I mean, like we talked earlier, where your fancy stuff is going to be with the man upstairs. So blessings to you. Thank you for coming on. And
thank you. Thank you for having me. And just want to say, look, it's hard. Ministry is hard. It is difficult. Yeah. But God will carry you through. If God is calling you to full-time ministry, God will open the doors. God will give you the opportunities. There is a lot of opportunities. In our ministry field, in our Christian world, we need a lot of good, solid people to work there. There's a lot of opportunities. Sometimes people say you have to have connections to get somewhere. I had connection with God, and that's it. I didn't have any special connections somewhere, but God opened the door and God provided. So whoever's listening may be questioning if I should go in a full-time ministry. Should I go to the Bible school? I did graduate Bible school with a bachelor's degree, and so if God is putting on their heart to go to the school, to be in full-time ministry, just know that God will provide. God will open the door. There is nothing. We all, as a human beings, we will be afraid because, we want the stability and we want to be for sure to know what's going to be tomorrow and stuff like that. But if we give our life to God, God will take care of our life.
Amen.
And so, yeah.
Amen. Awesome. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you.